A week before Miyamoto Musashi died, he did something unusual. He did not write about sword techniques. He did not record battle strategies. He did not boast about victory. Instead, he wrote 21 short sentences. Simple, cold, unforgiving. He called them Dokkōdō, the way of walking alone. Musashi, the greatest samurai to ever live, undefeated in over 60 duels. A warrior feared by generals, respected by kings, and remembered centuries later. Yet in his final days, he left no gold, no titles, no land. He left principles, a treasure not for crowds, but for warriors willing to stand without applause. Not a path for the popular, a path for the unshaken. This was Musashi's final gift. And generations later, that gift would change the life of a young warrior named Kaito. Chapter 1. The Hunger for Greatness. Kaito was young, strong, restless, but more than anything, he was hungry. Not for food, not for comfort, for meaning. Like many young warriors, his heart burned with a single desire: to be remembered. He didn't just want to be skilled. Anyone could swing a sword. He didn't just want to survive. Even cowards survive. Kaito wanted something louder. He wanted fame. He wanted honor. He wanted his name carved into time, spoken long after his body returned to dust. In his mind, greatness meant one thing: recognition. And so he listened carefully to the stories whispered in every village. They spoke of a man who lived quietly beyond the fields, far from noise, far from applause. An old samurai, calm, silent, untouched by fear. They said he was the last surviving student of Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated swordsman who walked his own path and bowed to no one. This old samurai had never lost a battle, never chased power, never claimed a throne. And yet, everyone feared him, not because he was cruel, but because he was unshakable. To the villagers, he was a warning. To Kaito, he was something else entirely. This wasn't fear. This was destiny. If I train under him, Kaito thought, if he chooses me, my dreams will finally come true. In Kaito's heart, he already saw it. Victories, respect, a name that echoed beyond his lifetime. What he didn't see was the trap hidden inside that desire. Chapter 2. The Easy Test. When Kaito finally stood before the old samurai's gate, his body was tense. He expected blood, pain, humiliation. He expected to be pushed beyond his limits, broken down, then rebuilt. That's how legends are born, right? Instead, the master looked at him and said calmly, "Cut this bamboo." Kaito did. "Train for 5 minutes." He did. "Fetch a bucket of water." That was all. No screaming, no punishment, no endurance trial, no test of pride, just simplicity. Kaito stood there confused. That's it? This is the trial of Musashi's last student? And yet the master nodded. "You are accepted." Joy exploded inside Kaito's chest. His heart raced. His fists tightened. This is it, he told himself. My life begins today. He imagined the future. Deadlier techniques, secret teachings, the rise of his name. But as he followed the master inside, a strange feeling settled in his gut. Something felt wrong. Not because the test was easy, but because it didn't demand what Kaito valued most: his struggle, his hunger, his desire to prove himself. And for the first time, a quiet thought crossed his mind. What if this path isn't what I think it is? Chapter 3. The Silent Days. The first day of training was easy, almost disappointing. The second day, exactly the same. No brutal drills to prove strength. No secret sword techniques whispered at dawn. No test that left the body broken and proud. Just repetition, slow movements, quiet stances, breathing in, breathing out, stillness, silence. At first, Kaito told himself to be patient. But by the third day, his mind began to rebel. Is this really training? Where is the suffering? Where is the greatness everyone talks about? Inside him, doubt grew louder than the silence around him. He watched the master move, calm, precise, effortless, and felt something unsettling. The master wasn't trying, and that confused him. Kaito wanted struggle, because struggle felt like progress. Without it, he felt invisible. Then one afternoon, everything changed. Messengers arrived from a neighboring village, breathless and afraid. Bandits were on their way. Homes would be burned, farms destroyed, children slaughtered. They fell to their knees before the master. "Please," they begged. "Only you can save us." Then came the offer. "If you protect us," they said, "we will make you king of our land." The air went still. The students looked at one another. Power, land, recognition, everything Kaito believed a great warrior should want. The master answered immediately, "I refuse." No explanation, no hesitation, just refusal. The villagers stared in disbelief. The greatest samurai alive, a man with unmatched skill. Turning down power? They left in silence, hope crushed. Kaito was stunned. How could anyone refuse a crown? What kind of warrior walks away from honor? But that night, as darkness fell, the master gathered his students. His voice was calm. Prepare for war. Chapter 4. The War Without Reward. When the bandits arrived, the master did not fight for land. He did not fight for praise. He did not fight to be seen. He fought because it was necessary. Nothing more, nothing less. His movements were clean, efficient, emotionless. There was no anger in his strikes, no hunger for victory, just clarity, and within moments it was over. The bandits were defeated. The villagers rushed out in celebration. They cheered. They bowed. They cried tears of relief. Once again they begged. "Please," they said, "rule us, be our king." The master looked at them quietly. "I do not fight for honor," he said. "I do not fight for rewards." And with that, he turned away. That night, while the village celebrated, Kaito lay awake, his mind restless. Everything he believed about strength was cracking. The greatest warrior he had ever seen wanted nothing. No title, no crown, no recognition. And for the first time, Kaito wondered, if power and honor don't drive true strength, then what does? Chapter 5. The Question That Burned. Kaito approached the master in the dark. "Master," he said, "you are respected, feared, unbeaten. Yet you have no title, no throne, no recognition." Then he confessed his truth. "I want to be strong like you, but I want honor. I want rewards. I want my name to matter." The master looked at him calmly and said only one thing. "Tomorrow I will give you your answer." Chapter 6. The Tournament. The next morning, the master gathered all the students. "I am holding a tournament," he said. "Whoever wins will become the head of all students." Kaito's heart exploded with desire. This is my moment. From that day on, he trained relentlessly, day and night. Sweat, pain, obsession. He imagined victory, respect, authority. The day of the fight arrived. One strike. That's all it took. Kaito was defeated instantly. Chapter 7. The Failure. That night, Kaito broke. Not the kind of breaking that shows on the body, but the kind that cracks something deeper. In the quiet of the night, with no one to impress and no victory to chase, he wept. "I trained harder than ever," he said, his voice trembling. "I did everything right." Then he asked the question that mattered most. "Why did I fail?" The master did not raise his voice. He did not criticize. He answered calmly, "Because you fought for a prize." The words landed heavier than the defeat itself. "You were not present," the master continued. "You were already standing on the podium in your mind. Your sword followed your desire, not the moment." Then the master reached behind him and brought out an old, worn book. Its pages were yellowed, its cover cracked with age. Written by Miyamoto Musashi, the man who walked alone. The man who fought over 60 duels and lost none. The man who rejected wealth, titles, and attachment even as Japan bowed to his skill. The master placed the book between them. "This," he said quietly, "is the path you do not yet understand." Chapter 8. The Way of Dokkōdō. The master opened the book slowly. "Musashi wrote this at the end of his life," he said. Not when he was hungry for victory, but when he had already mastered it. He looked at Kaito. "Dokkōdō," he said, "means the way of walking alone." Then he paused. "It does not mean isolation. It does not mean rejection of people. It means freedom from dependence." Musashi lived this path. That is why no one could control him. That is why no one could defeat him. Then the teaching began. 1. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. If your actions are controlled by pleasure, the master said, you will always be weak. Musashi understood this early. Pleasure makes discipline optional. Comfort makes growth negotiable. Train because it is right, the master said. Act because it is necessary. Not because it feels good. Kaito realized something painful. He enjoyed training when it fed his ego, not when it demanded stillness. 2. Do not depend on desire. Desire makes you predictable, the master continued. When you want rewards, you can be led. Titles, praise, recognition. Musashi wanted none of these. That is why kings could not buy him. That is why fear could not move him. Kaito lowered his head. He had lost because he wanted something. 3. Do not act based on feelings. Emotion clouds judgment, the master said. A warrior who chases emotion will always lose. Anger rushes. Pride blinds. Excitement distracts. Musashi fought with calm. Calm sees clearly. Calm reacts correctly. Calm wins wars. 4. Accept everything just the way it is. No complaint, the master said. No resentment. No resistance. Musashi accepted life exactly as it came. Victory, hardship, loneliness, misunderstanding. Acceptance is not weakness. It is clarity. Strength begins, the master said, when you stop arguing with reality. 5. Do not let honor trap you. Honor can become a cage, the master warned. When you fight for image, you stop fighting for truth. Musashi did not duel to protect pride. He did not fight to look noble. He fought to end conflict decisively. When honor becomes performance, the master said, your enemy controls you. 6. Walk your path alone. The master's voice softened. This does not mean loneliness, he said. It means independence. Stand firm even when no one claps. Move forward even when no one understands. Musashi walked alone, not because he rejected others, but because he refused to be owned by approval. Kaito finally understood. The master never needed a crown. Because he was already free. Kaito closed the book slowly. For the first time, his hunger changed. He no longer wanted to be remembered. He wanted to be unshaken. And that was the beginning of true mastery. Chapter 9. The Transformation. From that day on, something inside Kaito shifted. Not overnight, not dramatically. Quietly. He returned to training, but this time there was no tension in his chest. No voice asking, what will this give me? No hunger asking, who will see this? He trained without expectation. Each movement became complete on its own. Each breath enough. Each moment sufficient. He fought without craving victory. When he sparred, his mind was empty. Not careless, clear. He stopped imagining outcomes. He stopped rehearsing praise. And because of that, he started seeing everything. Timing sharpened. Distance revealed itself. Openings appeared without force. He lived without chasing praise. Some days no one noticed him. Some days no one spoke his name. And strangely, those were his strongest days. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, his skill surpassed what desire had ever given him. Not because he pushed harder, but because nothing pulled him anymore. He became calm. Not the calm of weakness, but the calm of someone who had nothing to prove. Clear, no confusion, no inner argument, unshakable, because praise could not lift him, and criticism could not move him, not because he wanted to be great, but because he no longer needed to be. Years later, when Kaito reflected on his journey, one lesson remained sharper than any sword. The master's final words still echoed in his heart. When you fight for rewards, you lose yourself. When you fight for the path, you gain everything. That was Musashi's truth. That was Dokkōdō. Not a rule for warriors alone, but a way of living free from control, free from validation, free from fear, free from the hunger to be seen. And that is the way of Dokkōdō.